Hi everyone, so today we are looking at how to create the James Bond color grade on an AI-powered color grading system, and that not only apply to the movie stills, they apply to any 10-bit footage that you film on your own camera. So let's get to it. First, I want to say how much we have improved on Cine Pulse AI. That is the engine that has a brain to understand every single calibration you make. So it's trained. So I click generate look. Instantly, I create a very distinctly different vibe to the whole entire image right away. I can click, every single one of them will be different. If I like this tonality, I can stay with it. Or I don't like certain parts of it, I can go to click on film, for example, film tonal curve. Thing you see here is not a LUT. They are everything created by the results of the 11 effects that built inside this AI color grading system that you can personally go down and try to recalibrate everything. For example, I want to make it more milky gray in the shadows. I can do that. And now I have the milky gray texture to the entire film. But if I don't want this to be so extreme, I can increase the mid-tone contrast to bring the mid-tone to be alive. So the effect only affects the shadows, doesn't affect the whole image. So I have the absolute control on every single thing I have. Next, I can go down to a different tab. I can maybe look at turn on the scope, vector scope. We can go down to film mixer. From the feedback from our users through the email, people don't really understand how the color mixing works in the past. And now we condense it in very simple 4 sliders that allows you to understand what looks it create. For example, I drag the teal and orange. Immediately, it will reshape our whole entire vector scope to form a new linear line at the teal and orange line. Or we can go to teal and pink. And this is the full calibration you can do to build any kind of look and cinematic kind of effect you want. And of course, we can go down to film separation. Here is where we actually are elaborating all the grade we have done. So for example, I want to pull the whole entire magenta and green colors apart. I can go down to the magenta and green slider. I can increase them so that I bring more nuances in the magenta and green to come back. And of course, we have the skin match to refine the skin tone. For example, I feel now the skin tone is a bit too red, so I can go in and change the density to reduce the density a little, reshape the hue of the skin. If it doesn't work that well, we can go down to color slider, look at our mask. The skin maybe not masked properly, we increase the red range, and we can reshape the hue just the face, and we can increase the saturation, and etc. That's the power of this tool. And another thing I need to mention, movie density is saturating the image by decreasing the luminance. So if we increase the density, you can see the colors pop to be more dense, but at the same time, our luminance doesn't get affected. In fact, it gets darker to give that richness in the color. So if you like this look that you have built from this to this, and you want to save it as a preset, you can save it at today's date 0116. And you can so easily call back on another shot. Let's test whether it's a robust system. 0116, load, done. Instantly, different shots, different mood, but we are able to replicate the same feel and tonality to the another shot. That's the power of this toolkit. And of course, we can go another shot. You try the same thing, 0116, load, done, instant. But if I don't like the look, I can still go down, fine tune, for example, printer lights. I don't want it to be so warm in this shot. Maybe I want to introduce a bit of blue, cyan, and a little bit of magenta in the scene. Depending on really how I want to feel, or I reduce the yellow to bring a bit of different kind of vibe and tonality to the shot, or I can just simply create generate look. Oh, this is a very contrasting, powerful look that we are building here. You can just generate, this is maybe a bleach bypass kind of vibe, but you have no idea and you will never be able to get back the same result because this is purely random. For example, now I really like this shot, but I feel it's lacking that juice, the movie density to the scene, so I can just dial in the global density that immediately brings the weight to the image by decreasing the luminance. And that is the power of this toolkit. I can go down there and increase the black point, increase the shadow roll off to bring back the milky gray to the high dynamic range look of our film. And that's it. Okay, and we can go to the next shot, do the same thing. We can load the preset and see the foundation 0116, done. Actually, I'm pretty happy with this result. But maybe I want to introduce a little bit about film split toning here. It's building on the curve they previously built. I can just increase the shadow split and I can rotate the shadows hue. Then I'm creating a 3-dimensional kind of color tonality to the shadows and the highlight and a different split. So this is split toning in action. Now we look at a shot that is filmed entirely on a different camera, not related to the film. Let's test how it works. 0116. It done beautifully, but I feel I don't really like the warmth in the shot. I want to make it more cyan. So it's very simple. I can regrade film printer lights to create a different tonality. I can create different film tonal curve. I can generate a look, entirely different look, until I like the result, and I regrade from there. For example, I pretty much like this one, but I want to regrade the film printer lights, or I want to readjust the skin tone. Maybe the skin tone here maybe doesn't seem very accurate. I turn on the skin tone map. I can rotate the hue. I can decrease the saturation density of the scene and to make it better. And at the same time, I can turn on the vector scope, look at exactly where is the color distribution. I want to elaborate further along the cyan and red line, so I can go to film separation, red and cyan, let's go. Increase the red and cyan, and instantly I get a totally different power to the shot. I can expand the magenta and green to add a bit of spread in the scene. And that's how powerful this toolkit is. You can build any kind of look you want so easily, so simply, just by manipulating every single features on this tool. So we can go to tonal curve. I want to add the shadows to display, increase the black point, increase the shadow roll off to add the milky gray to the shadows, and pretty happy with the result. And look at the before and look at the after. It's a totally different kind of scene. Okay, how about applying this to my own shot? Shot on 10bit 422 4K. So let's try. So we go to preset 0116. Look, ooh, I pretty much like the result, but I feel the tonality and the film separation is a bit too much. So I can turn on the scope here, go down to film separation, and we clearly see that we have too much stretch along this line, so we can reduce it a little, reduce the cyan and teal kind of separation, and we can trim down the colors a little so that it doesn't bleed into other areas. So we reduce and curb the result, and while still maintaining the very similar kind of tonality to it. Yeah. Then we have built a very persistent kind of style across all the cinematic styles in one shot. Or I can generate another look. I can tone down the intensity, so you can generate a totally different vibe and feel entirely. And then I can dial in, go back to the film split tone, or go to film printer lights. I want to build less the blue look. I want to elaborate the green, elaborate the yellow to create a different vibe to the whole scene atmosphere. You can do everything like in an instant, and you don't have to ever worry about whether this will be a consistent look or not. You can just so easily replicate the whole thing, save so much time. And because we are building a system, it's not a LUT. Every single slider make a difference, and you can go down and while we are designing the whole entire interface in a very systematic workflow, you manipulate and swap your colors first with the color slider. Whether you want to dense out the image, or you want to darken the image but saturate the image, the density in the movie, light kind of tone, you can do it. Or you can use color slider to add brightness, just like normal global saturation. If you don't like the hue of cyan, you can increase and where exactly is the pixel, then you can manipulate the whole entire scene with just a few tweaks. And that's the whole power of this toolkit. You have the absolute control. You feel, you understand color grading better as you use the system more. As you use more, the Cine Pulse AI will become smarter in understanding your request and will be generating more consistent and better look for any kind of scene you had. So that's all for PFA Color Suite. I'm very happy to read the remarks and emails from everybody improving the tool every single day. And yesterday we have a recommend people comparing our tool now to Genesis and Filmbox, and yes, and that is the direction we are going, but they are pricing at $999. Now we are producing an offer that $199. It's a no-brainer. Genesis is very good at creating that film print, but it's basically still I hope it's mathematical, but from what I test, it's still based on a lot of LUTs information. So since it's LUTs, it's a grid system, they will create banding. So our system is 32-bit float math. You can generate everything without deteriorating your image, and you can playback. Look at the playback speed. I'm 4K on a 4K timeline right now, and we are playing back exactly at 24 frames per second. That's the craziest thing that you can imagine. Okay, so that's the power of our toolkit. We have upgraded to 6.1.14 based on the latest feedback. We make the film separation and film printer lights, film colors mixers to be more intuitive and easy to understand. And thank you for your remarks. And my name is Nash, Passion Fuels Ambition. Do try out the free trial for free and test out all the features and grab the offer before it ends. I'll see you in the next one.